Hello everyone. My name is Tarun Nathan and I will be talking about Bhagat Singh, one of the most popular Indian revolutionaries who fought for Indian independence from the British. But before talking about Bhagat Singh, I'd like to give a brief explanation about what a revolutionary is. The Indian revolutionaries were freedom fighters who believed that only violent protests, and not negotiations, would force the British to leave India. These revolutionaries became heroes to the people because they raised awareness about the freedom movement and taught people to fight back against the British, even with violence when necessary. The revolutionaries showed individual acts of bravery, but failed to start a popular uprising. Now I'm going to talk about Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh's early life. He was born on September 27, 1907 in western Punjab, which is now in present-day Pakistan, and was the second of 7 children to Kishan Singh in Vidyavati. Bhagat Singh's family was already involved in freedom movements. Bhagat Singh studied at the National College in Lahore, which was founded by Lala Lajpat Rai in response to Gandhi's non-cooperation movement, which called for boycotting British government-aided institutions. And Singh already started to protest British rule while he was in college. He was also a writer and editor for many revolutionary newspapers. Bhagat Singh joined the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, or the HSRA, where he met many prominent revolutionaries. Revolutionary activities. In 1928, Indian political parties boycotted the Simon Commission, which was appointed by the British government to report on India's constitutional progress. This was protested against because there were no Indian representatives in this commission. When the Simon Commission visited Lahore, Lala Lajpat Rai led a march against it, and the Superintendent of Police, James A. Scott, initiated a baton charge to be used against the protesters to disperse them. Rai was injured in this attack and died 2 weeks later due to heart problems, which were accelerated by his injuries. To avenge Lala Lajpat Rai's death, Bhagat Singh, along with Shivaram Rajguru and Sukhdev Thapar, planned to kill the Superintendent James A. Scott, but killed Officer John P. Saunders by mistake. Bhagat Singh's arrest. After killing Saunders, Bhagat Singh had to flee Lahore. Later, in April of 1929, Bhagat Singh and another HSRA member, Batukeshwar Dutt, threw 2 bombs into the Legislative Assembly during an active session. This bombing was to protest against the Public Safety Bill and the Trade Dispute Act, which were going on at this time. However, their main intention was to get arrested to publicize their cause through court appearances. Instead of escaping through the smoke of the bombs, which they could have done, Dutt and Singh stayed and shouted the slogan Inqilab Zindabad, which means long live the revolution. Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt were arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Bhagat Singh's death. Further investigation revealed Bhagat Singh's involvement with the death of Officer Saunders, and he was rearrested. While waiting for his trial, Singh and other revolutionaries in jail led a hunger strike demanding better prison conditions. Bhagat Singh was then sentenced to death for the murder of Officer Saunders and was executed on March 23, 1931, at the age of 23. Bhagat Singh's legacy. Singh became a popular folk hero after his death, and on August 15, 2008, an 18-foot tall bronze statue of him was installed in the Parliament of India, next to the statues of Indira Gandhi and Subhash Chandra Bose. Bhagat Singh was also featured on the 1968 Stamp of India to commemorate his birth anniversary. The Shahid-e-Azam Sardar Bhagat Singh Museum opened on the 50th anniversary of his death in Punjab. Several movies have also been made to portray the life of Bhagat Singh. Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose both acknowledged Bhagat Singh as a symbol of the new awakening among the youths. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new about Bhagat Singh.